Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, Phil Savage, but we are less than 1 week away from the NFL Draft. It comes May 8th in New York City. The last couple months, we've been counting down to the NFL Draft. We started with our 7 cornerstone positions 7 weeks out, then our 6 ways to ensure a quality draft, and our 5 pitfalls to avoid a poor draft, and it continued on from there.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago, we talked about the 4 components of information, the fall grades from the scouts, the measurables from the combine, the medicals from the combine, and the coaches' evaluations. And then 3 weeks ago, we discussed the game plan, putting together your plans for the first 3 rounds.
Okay.
Last week, we talked about following up and making sure that 2 final pieces are in play.
Okay.
Inventory, make sure you've got everything covered, and then ownership. Make sure that the ownership is signed off on your strategy. And so here we are now, less than 1 week away. And the focus is on one. And for the draft, it's once per year. This is your only shot at it. So my advice and my guidance to anyone that really follows the draft is for these GMs and head coaches to trust the preparation. This is a situation that has been ongoing since last August, if not July. So almost an 11-month process to get to this point. And here is where you have to trust everything that you've done, every step along the way, and ultimately your team goes on the clock and you have already decided whether you're going to move up prior to that, whether you're going to make the pick, or whether you're going to move down. And with only 10 minutes in the first round, and then limited time thereafter, 7 minutes for the second round, 5 minutes for round 3, and thereafter, you really have to be prepared and ready to go. And that's why I say trust your preparation. Don't deviate on draft day. Believe in yourself and what you're going to do. And I'll tell you this, Rob, as a former general manager, you take all the information that you can get from your staff, but ultimately your name is the one that goes on these draft picks. And there were times where I felt like in trying to build a consensus, hey, let's take this player rather than somebody that I personally had rated higher or lower. And ultimately, my name is on it forever. And
Right.
ever and ever. I'll go to my grave with certain names on the headstone. But nevertheless, that's what a GM has to do, and that's why they get paid the biggest money and the biggest salary, and they've got the most pressure. But trust the preparation.
And by saying that, is it almost like using a football analogy for this football equation here? It's like run the play. I mean, you don't want to be ad-libbing. It's like you've done your research and you've studied all the players and you know kind of what the game plan is for that day, and it's just kind of like you're just following the playbook at that point.
Yep, and we talked about having that game plan, the strategy on the first night of the draft, and then coming back and making adjustments on Friday morning for rounds 2 and 3. Ultimately, the same thing for rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday morning before you get started. So, yes, go in with your game plan, but knowing that there can be some adjustments along the way, but stick with your plan, your strategy in terms of how you're going to build your team. And, you know, one thing that happens in the NFL is sometimes people end up collecting talent, but not building a team. And that is a definite distinction in terms of trying to build a winner in the National Football League.
Well, we'll see who wins come Thursday night, May 8th, round 1 of the NFL Draft from New York City.